Leia and Lando reunion rumored for Star Wars Episode 9. It's all of this effort to bring back Carrie Fisher after she passed away using old footage, and what a waste of time, because by all accounts, Luke Skywalker is still dead as far as the story is concerned. So you have an actor who's alive who could actually give us a performance that fans want to see, and you have an actor who's dead who they could just write her off in the opening crawl, and they're going through all of this effort to give her extra screen time. What a bunch of fucking idiots. How's it going, everybody? This is Phil. This is kind of like a rumor recap, roundup, whatever you want to call it. Some other tidbits that, up until me really reading this article, I haven't stumbled across yet. This comes to us from We Got This Covered, and you can see the author of the article is David Pountain. Let's proceed with the article and get through this as quick as possible. Why not? While it's nice to finally have a few set photos from the upcoming Star Wars Episode 9, there's still a huge amount that we have to learn about the J.J. Abrams helmed trilogy crapper, leaving plenty of room for some fresh turds and rumors to fill in the gaps in our knowledge with uncertain info. I guess all of this can be taken with a grain of salt for the most part, until we actually see what comes out on screen. J.J. Abrams and Disney, they'll try to put out there whatever they can to kind of throw us off the trail. But the leaks, this set that's supposedly on lockdown with all of their cell phones and NDAs and social media bans and whatever else they got going on. I mean, things just seem to keep leaking out in all in all different directions. So no one can be trusted. There's no honor, certainly not amongst thieves. And if you're stealing information on a Star Wars set, you're leaking it out somewhere. People just can't be trusted. So this latest report, for instance, gives us some indication of the ways in which that old footage of Carrie Fisher could be put to use, as well as suggesting how the new film might pick things up after the rather open-ended finale to The Last Jedi. It was open-ended, and it slammed the door on stuff all at the same time. That movie did it all. You want to talk about doing a number as the middle part of a trilogy for a mega franchise. That movie served up the biggest shitburger I've ever seen in the middle of a three-part story. Shitburgers? Let's start with Leia, the huge waste of time in this movie. I'm happy that her brother feels good that she's going to be in this movie, but to put this much effort just seems at this point so ridiculous. I mean, she's going to be throughout the whole film, it seems like it, and poor Mark Hamill is relegated to being a Force ghost. So it's so unfair. It's wild. It really is crazy. I really don't care what you need to do to bring Luke back. Bring him back. How much screen time is Carrie Fisher going to get in this movie? A half hour? I mean, look how long Canto Bight was, almost in a half hour. That felt like it took forever to get through that scene. So a half hour is a lot of screen time, for a person who's didn't shoot any footage technically for this movie. It's crazy. It's been reported that the famed general will feature in the pic's opening minutes, sending the Resistance fighters to meet her allies in the Outer Rim. Among her remaining followers are emasculated Poe and Finn, the clown shoe buffoon, Chewbacca, who we all love, and Naomi Ackies, as of yet unnamed character, all of whom will journey to this region to bring back soldiers to help in the fight. It's been alleged that the recent photos of the gang wandering through the countryside show parts of this section. Among the helpful groups approached are the Hutts, who are initially reluctant to assist the rebels in their effort, seeing how Leia killed Jabba back in Return of the Jedi. Fortunately, Finn and Poe somehow managed to convince the Grimlow Syndicate to provide them with supplies and soldiers. I don't mind that as a part of the story. I actually find that interesting because it is a cool throwback to Return of the Jedi. If they go into Jabba's son, that he would hold a grudge against Leia, having killed his father. To me, that's not a bad thing to explore in the story. So maybe that'll be a cool scene. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. It's crazy at this point. So these are some of the photos that have been leaked recently. The on-set photos. They're on the countryside here. We see, I guess, maybe a couple of rebels and some army fatigues. There's Naomi Aki, the new character, sporting the mega fro. And this is probably not her full costume, and it better not be, because are those Crocs? are those Crocs? There's no Crocs in Star Wars. You don't wear Crocs in the middle of a war. It's impossible to go to war wearing Crocs. It's so ridiculous. Well, you know what? I guess it would make sense considering the fact that the whole movie is a Croc, essentially. Right? Okay, so look, let's click through these pictures really quick. So we go, Naomi Aki, maybe a couple of rebels. There's a guy who just got back from a luau wearing jean shorts. There's a Chewbacca without his head. You never do that in Disney. You never take off your head if you're a Mickey Mouse character when you're on stage. And there's Chewbacca. That's Chewbacca Poppins, y'all. And these are the horses. These are actually motion capture markers on the horses. So a lot of people were complaining, why would they have horses in this movie? It doesn't make sense. These are actually going to be filled in later with the effects crew that go back, and they won't be actual horse heads. They'll be some kind of alien creature. Look, Chewbacca looks cool. I mean, it's hard to get Chewbacca wrong, you know? There's Poe and Finn. I'm glad to see these guys are back together again on screen. I really did like their chemistry in The Force Awakens. Their actual the costume design here looks pretty good, pretty standard Star Wars stuff. You know, you got your gun holsters, your belts, your open collar shirts, and all of that stuff. Finn sporting the vest. It looks good. His hair doesn't look that long, so I mean, everyone's making a big stink about this, but I mean, in 3 months you can grow this hair out to look like that. So I don't know what the big problem is. And there he is again, side profile. The hair doesn't look that much longer from the last movie. So if he had dreads, you know, like the Predator, that would be something else. So that's pretty much it. So and there's a couple of more shots of the horses. So backside of Chewie. That's it. So okay. Elsewhere, Rose has been partnered up with Nien Nunb and sent by Leia on a special mission to find Nien's old co-pilot, Lando Calrissian. Now I wonder if they're going to say anything, because Rose is clearly the Asian-inspired character, right, to crack the Asian market. And Nien Nunb was always thought to be Asian-inspired. So is that going to be an issue for people? Is somebody going to have an issue with that? I mean,
we're doubling down on the Asian here. You know, Disney's just desperate to get into that Chinese market.
Everybody has an issue with something at this point, so we'll wait and see what happens with that. I mean, I can only imagine what happens going forward. It's said that this will lead to a reunion between Lando and Leia, with Fisher's pre-recorded performance being rotoscoped into a new location. Right, so instead of getting Luke with Lando, we get Lando with Leia, with her old footage, and I mean, just out of morbid curiosity, I cannot wait to see that on screen, because I want to see if it completely takes me out of it. I mean, I'm gonna know, we're all gonna know that it's repurposed footage, but how good are they gonna do the actual rotoscoping to put her into a scene with Lando? I mean, that to me I find fascinating, just from an artistic, you know, an effects perspective, looking at it from that kind of technical aspect. I'm really, really curious how well they're able to pull that off. I mean, unfortunately we all know it's something that wasn't shot for this movie, but to see what it actually looks like, if they can get it to look natural in some way, that I'm really interested in seeing. So, but again, this is a lot of effort, for somebody who's not shooting one frame of footage for this actual movie. In other news, it's rumored that the new First Order front headquarters will be stationed in an unknown region where Kylo and his men seek to conquer the few parts of the galaxy previously untouched by their influence. Naturally, Leia also has troops sent to this zone to defend what's left of the free world, even though by the end of The Last Jedi, there's about 20 people left in the Resistance on the Millennium Falcon. And what troops are left at this point? She must have been very busy in the year of the time lapse that this movie picks up from. Depending on how much of this turns out to be legit, it sounds like Fisher's character could continue to play a central and strategic role in the Resistance renewal. I think Carrie Fisher, I think there's enough footage for her to do another 3 movies from the way that it sounds. Let's just keep going. We'll see if Abrams and his crew manage to pull off this somewhat risky feat when Star Wars Episode 9 comes out on December 20th, 2019. So that's it, man. How do you guys feel about this? Are you on board with me? Do you think that, like, if they could just find a way to resurrect Luke, within like let that be the first act of the movie, finding a way, Rey, she read through the ancient Jedi text, there's a way to bring him back. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda come to her in a vision, and there's a way to do it, and then they figure it out, and after the first act, Luke comes back, all right? Or maybe if they're gonna break this up into a 2-parter, have him come back towards the end of the movie, and then part 2, it's just like guns blazing, Luke Skywalker, balls to the wall, the way we always wanted to see him all of these years later. I don't know. It just seems to go through all of this effort dealing with Carrie Fisher footage. And I love Carrie Fisher. I was deeply saddened when we lost her as a huge fan of Star Wars. A part of me does want to see her back on the screen. But, I'm also looking at this from a pragmatic point of view. It just seems like so much energy is being put into this, and for what? I mean, what's the pat on the back that you're looking to achieve? Just give us a good Star Wars story. Now, if there was some way that this footage was absolutely imperative to be used in telling the story that they needed to tell to set everything up so this could be a great movie and possibly lead itself into bringing back Luke or having some kind of a satisfying finish, then yeah, that's fine. But it seems like, for some reason, J.J. Abrams has allowed himself to be hamstrung by this footage with Carrie Fisher, and the movie is being shot around that as opposed to just being a story that needs to be told first and foremost. And it's just a backwards process, and stuff like that. It never works out. Or if it does, it's by some miracle. We're just trying to throw everything we possibly can into this movie for just the purposes of doing it. It's all this fanfare that we're rolling out. And listen, and that being said, I am kind of interested in seeing Nien Nunb get some actual screen time besides just laughing like a goofball in the cockpit next to Lando Calrissian. So I think that would be cool. But I'm really not that thrilled to see him being teamed up with Rose. So, but whatever. I mean, this is the movie that we're left with at this point. Again, we just got to get through this. Just keep telling yourselves that, and it'll make it less painful, I think. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, feel free to hit the like button, comment down below, and if it's your first time here or if it's your second time here, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button already, and clobber that little bell so that way the next time I post a video, you'll be notified right away. And that's all I got for tonight. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you guys tomorrow. I really don't see you, but I hope to speak with you guys sometime soon. And until then, be happy, be safe, be healthy. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.